Hey everybody, and welcome to Body Count, where I find out just how murderous all of our favorite fictional characters really are. Today's episode, Michael Myers. Michael Myers is one of the most iconic horror movie villains of all time. You know him, I know him, there's no need for an introduction. But they just won't stop making movies about this bastard. So, for Halloween this year, I'm seeing how many unsuspecting victims met the fury of this unstoppable killing machine. Let's get to it and find out how bloodthirsty Michael Myers really is. Old Mikey Boy has appeared in, good lord, 12 films. Get ready guys, this is gonna be a long one. Kicking off the count is the original Halloween. The entire series starts off with, what else but a couple of teenagers making out. Then Mikey wastes no time getting his first kill by stabbing his sister to death. In first person. It's honestly a pretty lame kill. We skip to 15 years later, meet his psychiatrist Loomis, then find out that Mike has escaped his mental hospital. He slaps a window, pulls a Grand Theft Auto, and heads back to his hometown. We then meet the main protagonist of the series, Laurie, and Mike becomes a real creepo, stalking her and the boys she's going to babysit. Violently murdering people is one thing, but invasion of privacy? Come on, man. On his way to Haddonfield, Loomis comes across the body of the man that Michael killed and stole that nifty jumpsuit from. He stalks her some more, and some more, and some more, and that's mostly what this movie is. Michael walking around stalking kids and Loomis trying to find them. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just very light on violence. It's more of a methodical thriller, but things do pick up in the third act when he chokes out and slices the neck of Laurie's best friend in the backseat of a car. After that, he kills two more horny teens. He lifts this guy and sticks him to the wall, which is so stupid, but so cool. Then he chokes out his girlfriend and lays out all of the dead bodies for Laurie to see. He finally attacks her, she stabs him in the eye with a clothes hanger. What? Then Loomis shows up and puts a bullet in his ass, sending him plunging to his death. The killing spree is finally over. The town can rest easy knowing, and he's gone. On to Halloween 2. It picks up right where the last one left off. And so does Michael. He steals a knife from an old lady trying to make a sandwich, and stabs her neighbor in the chest, already giving us more blood than the last film. Laurie goes to the hospital, where most of this movie takes place. Then Mike casually strolls up onto the front lawn because this cop sucks. When he finally gets up to do his job 10 minutes later, he takes a hammer to the head. These two hospital workers start making out in a therapy tub, so you know what that means. Death. He strangles the man with a rope or something, then drowns the woman in scalding hot water. After she sucks on his dirty fingers. Ew. In between checking on Laurie, a nurse discovers a doctor with a syringe sticking out of his eyeball. Then Michael plunges a syringe into the side of her head and injects air deep inside. But he's not done killing nurses, as someone discovers another one with all of the blood drained out of her body. And he gets another one when he stabs this nurse and kills her so hard that her shoes fall off. Alright, just like the first one, it's Laurie v. Michael, just in a different location. She escapes him, he breaks through the world's weakest glass, then slices this officer's throat with a scalpel. There's some shooting, there's some stabbing, there's some explosions, and Michael burns to death, putting an end to his terror. Until Halloween 4, where the legend comes back. Turns out he didn't burn to death in that fire, and he's angry. He attacks the people in this ambulance, first bashing this guy's head in multiple times, and then somehow sticking his thumb into his forehead? What is he, a fucking super soldier? The ambulance is later found totaled with 3 more confirmed bodies. Then Michael kills this mechanic because, for some reason, he's just addicted to the jumpsuit. And I guess he choked this waitress off screen. We don't see any action for another 22 minutes, until Michael tosses this electrician into a transformer, frying his ass to a crisp. Shortly after, Loomis comes across a destroyed police station, and there's a dead cop with his arm ripped clean off. The town starts to wise up, and they put together a team to stop the monster. But they fail. Michael kills this cop off screen, then takes a shotgun and rams it through this girl's body. I don't think he knows how to use that thing. This dweeb tries to take him one-on-one, but he gets his neck broken like a little bitch. They run from Michael. The hair color on his mask changes for some reason. Then he stabs 1, 2 men, and throws another one out of a moving truck. Then he reaches through the window and straight rips this guy's throat out. Oh! The cops show up and unload hundreds of bullets into his body, sending him falling into some sort of hole. Yay, it's over. Until Halloween 5. Surprise, surprise, Michael didn't die, and he pulls a Shawshank Redemption by escaping through a tunnel in the ground. He comes across this old man, passes out, sleeps for a year, then, as a thank you for taking care of him all that time, he beats the man to death. He has a weird psychic connection with his niece, and I gotta say, this movie is terrible. It's the same walking around and stalking teenage girls as always, just with a supernatural twist to it this time. But he gets back to it when he stabs and kills the girl from the last movie with scissors. We meet this ripoff Fonzie, only for him to go toe-to-toe with Mikey. It didn't go well for the last guy who tried this, so what about this time? Garden utensil to the head. We have 20 minutes of dumb side plot stuff, and then we find two teens making out in a barn. You know what that means. Michael is a class A incel and can't stand it when anyone else gets busy. So he puts a pitchfork through this guy's back, then slices the girl with a scythe. Then we see that he killed these two useless side cops off screen. A chase ensues, Halloween turns into Mario Kart for some reason, and he ends up stabbing what I guess is the main character of the movie in the chest for another kill. Mike is clearly pro defund the police because he can't stop killing them. He beats this one to death, then hangs another one out of a window. He chases his niece around in a very anticlimactic third act, until he's finally arrested and actually put in prison. Then some random man in black breaks him out of prison for plot reasons, and this shit is over. On to Halloween, the Curse of Michael Myers. For some reason, his niece is now giving birth in some weird cultish cave, and I have no idea what's going on at this point. The franchise has completely gone off the rails, and I understand none of it. But I do understand this kill. He picks up one of the nurses there and impales her head onto a spike. His niece escapes into the rain, steals this guy's truck, then Michael snaps his neck like a Kit Kat. Hey, it's Paul Rudd! Maybe this movie isn't that bad after all. Michael runs her down in a van. God damn, he loves driving. Then he ends up killing her by slamming her down on some kind of spiky thing in a barn. I guess they think the audience's attention span is so short that they have to keep killing the characters from previous movies and introducing new ones. We get a little domestic abuse from Laurie Strode's uncle. Paul Rudd ends up being kind of a creep, and 20 minutes after the last kill, we see Michael go full Babe Ruth on Laurie's aunt with an axe, splashing blood all over a bedsheet. Paul Rudd is carrying around a baby for some reason. Then we realize that Michael has a proclivity for sticking people to walls. He stabs the uncle into a circuit breaker, and he electrocutes until his fucking head explodes. Okay, Michael. He then stabs this rando and hangs him up in a tree for all the people to see. Two people have sex, which means one of them gets their throat slit, and the other one gets stabbed in the back. There's a ridiculous plot about a cult going on in the background, so I'm skipping it. A random lady at a hospital gets stabbed in the stomach at some point, so I guess Michael did it? And there are so many flashing lights in this next scene that I'm not even gonna show it. I'm just gonna tell you that he grabs a machete and kills 7 doctors and nurses in a nauseating bloodbath. Even if you aren't epileptic, it's hard to watch this scene. One of the doctors escapes, but he ends up getting his head bashed in just a minute later. Paul Rudd beats the shit out of Michael, and the movie's over. Next up is Halloween H2O, which is a sequel to Halloween 2 and erases the past 4 movies. Ah, good to know. It has a pretty good cast with Jamie Lee Curtis, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Michelle Williams, and Josh Hartnett, but it's kind of a Scream ripoff, and to save time, I'm just gonna blaze through the kills. Michael kills Gordon-Levitt with an ice skate to the face, then he stabs his friend in the back with a knife, then he slits the throat of the nurse from the original movie. He steals yet another car and doesn't get another kill for almost an hour. He slits this kid's throat and stuffs him in a dumbwaiter, then stabs his girlfriend in the back, then stabs Laurie's boo in the back and lifts him off the ground once again. He loves doing that. It's Laurie v. Michael round 3, and she ends up actually winning by cutting his head off. Okay, that has to be it, right? He's been shot, stabbed, thrown out of windows, hit with cars, lit on fire, and now been decapitated. There's no way he's coming back from this. but he does in Halloween Resurrection. Widely accepted as the worst Halloween film, for obvious reasons, I'm gonna skim over this one pretty fast as well. He starts off by cutting the head off the security guard and stuffing it in a dryer. Then he slits the throat of his partner. We get Laurie V. Michael 4, and he actually kills her this time, stabbing her and sending her plunging to her death. Well, that's surprising. Michael stabs a guy in the throat with a camera tripod, breaks through a mirror and stabs a guy in the head, then hangs yet another person up by impaling this girl on a gate spike. He decapitates another person and sends her head rolling down the stairs, crushes this guy's head in with brute force, and yet again, he stabs this guy to the wall and leaves him hanging there. He loves doing that. Busta Rhymes fights Michael Myers with Kung Fu. Yes, that is a real thing that happened. Then we see Tyra Banks hanging from the ceiling. They burn Michael to death, but not really, and that's the end of this piece of shit. On to Rob Zombie's Halloween. I wasn't sure if I was gonna cover this version of the character because it wasn't technically canonical, but a lot of these movies disregard each other and don't give a shit about timeline consistency, so I'm doing it. This is a hardcore origin story, having almost a third of the movie take place when Michael's a kid. After his toxic, verbally abusive, borderline pedophilic stepfather treats him like shit, he goes to school and has the guy from Spy Kids treat him like shit. So the only answer to this is to beat one of them to death with a tree limb, then duct tape the other one to a chair and slit his throat. This is one of the only kills in the franchise that is actually satisfying. He then bashes his sister's boyfriend's head in with a baseball bat, then targets her and stabs her in the stomach, recreating the kill from the original. He goes to a mental hospital and kills a nurse with a fork. Then 15 years pass. Hey, it's Danny Trejo as a janitor. He escapes the institution, and the way he does it is actually different in the theatrical and director's cut. But I'm going with the theatrical here because he gets more kills and it has less sexual assault. He breaks his shackles with pure brute strength, then punches a cop, but I can't confirm if this kills him. But this guy's definitely dead. He uses the next guy as a shield from a shotgun blast, then just rips the throat out of the last woman. Danny Trejo finds another woman dead in the hallway, then 2 more Slade cops. And how does Mikey repay him for his years of friendship? By smashing his head in with a TV. He goes to a truck stop where this guy is just trying to take a peaceful dump. But Michael needs his iconic threads, so of course he kills him and steals his clothes. The rest of the movie is basically a remake of the original, just a little more gory and with a few changes. So let's get through these. He sticks a guy up against a wall again, chokes his girlfriend to death, kills Laurie Strode's dad, then mom. He stabs a guy in the stomach, stabs a cop in the back, stabs another cop, then it's Laurie v. Michael round 5. They tussle for a bit, then she puts a bullet in his head, ending the movie. But he comes back again in Halloween 2. And he's even angrier and more violent this time around. After the ambulance carrying him crashes into a cow, he cuts off the head of one of the coroners in the front seat. Then he slashes and gashes Octavia Spencer to death in a hospital. He gouges out the eyes of another nurse, puts an axe in the back of another security guard, then Laurie wakes up because this was all a dream? It's not clear if this opening 20 minutes really happened or not, so I'm just gonna say it did and keep the kills. 15 minutes later, he comes across some hillbillies in a random field. And he don't like them. He slashes one guy in the face and stabs him to death, impales the second guy onto some deer antlers, then drags the woman out of the truck and ends her life as well. Michael heads to the strip club where his mom worked, and straight curb stomps this guy to death. Boot to face. Then he beats the ever-loving shit out of the owner. And to top it off, he kills one of the dancers too. We cut to a Halloween party where, uh-oh, 2 people are making out. Time to die. He stabs one of them in the back when he's trying to piss. Then he just chokes the other one in the back of a van. And once again, he kills another cop by choking him with rope. He kills one of Laurie's friends with a couple stabby stabs. He kills one of the chicks from the last movie off screen. Then we get Laurie v. Michael round 6. You know the drill by now. He kills this version of Loomis that I never even mentioned by slashing and stabbing him a bunch of times. Then Laurie kills him and the film is over. On to the newest and hopefully final trilogy of the Halloween series, starting with Halloween. for the third time. This movie is a direct sequel to the original film, so everything I just went over is absolutely meaningless. Isn't that just awesome? It's 40 years later, and some podcasters go to interview Michael in another mental hospital. Then we see that Laurie has basically turned into Rambo. Mikey's bus crashes, and we see multiple dead security guards on the ground. But I can't tell if the wreck killed them or if Michael did. One of them is behind the bus, so I think he got this one. A father and son come across this, and he straight up chokes the kid to death and snaps the neck of his dad. This is the first kid that Michael has killed in the entire series. The podcasters drop by a gas station, and we see that he smashed in the face of the guy at the register, and he killed another mechanic and stole his clothes. Look at that ass. One of them tries to peacefully drop a deuce, but Michael hates it when people have to shit, so he lifts her up and breaks her neck, then bashes in her partner's head relentlessly until he takes a nap in the corner. This is the last time we see this guy, so I'm counting it. On Halloween night, he grabs a hammer and gets back to work. He kills this woman with it, then has the audacity to steal her knife. He slowly works his way into another woman's house, then stabs her in the back of the neck. And uh-oh, you know the rule by now. If they be kissin', he be killin'. He stabs this girl a few times on the ground, then pins her boyfriend up against the wall. It's another pinup, but this one is somehow better. He chases the schlubby comic relief character through a yard, and when his cape gets stuck on a gate, he stabs him in the back and he slides down onto one of the decorative spikes. Yummy! Michael gets knocked out. There's a silly twist where this doctor wants to keep him alive to study his mind, but that doesn't exactly work out, as Michael wakes up and straight curb stomps his head into mush. Fuck! Then he kills 2 more officers by cutting one of their throats and decapitating the other one and turning his head into a jack-o'-lantern. Okay, Mikey, getting more flamboyant with the kills, I see. But then he gets back to the basics by choking out Laurie's son-in-law with a wind chime. The movie culminates with Laurie v. Michael round 7, and after a little shooty shoot and punchy punch, they lock him in the basement and light the whole damn house on fire. This sets us up for Halloween Kills, which takes place just minutes after. We get a flashback of the first movie, then Laurie gets taken to the hospital where she stays for the entire film, and big motherfucking surprise, Michael's not dead. When a group of firefighters come to the scene, he starts wiping them out. One falls through the floor and gets a Halligan bar to the face. Another one gets pulled down into the flames. We get a first person stab in the face, smack, stab, stab and lift. Then he gets a good old slice-a-rooney with a saw blade. We later find out that all of these firefighters died, and there were 9 in this earlier shot, so I'm counting 4 more. You see this sweet old couple dead. He drags the man through a glass window and sticks him with knives like a pushpin, and stabs the woman in the neck with a broken fluorescent light bulb. But it's revealed in the next movie that she survives, so good for her. He shows up to a playground holding the mask of one of the kids we see earlier, so I guess he killed another child. Then he takes aim at 3 adults in a car. He kills the nurse from the original movie, for good this time. He stabs this guy through the eyeball, then kicks the door into this woman's gun, giving us one of the funniest and most infamous kills in the series. An anti-Michael hate mob forms, then he heads back to his old house where a new couple lives, and he is not cool with it. He stabs one of them in the armpit and then gouges his eyes out, then follows that up by killing his partner off screen. Lame. We see that he stuffs another body in an attic. Then he slam, breaks the neck of another teenager. They lead Michael into the street and beat the dog shit out of him, but they of course don't finish him off, because that would be smart. No. He gets up, slashes this cop's throat, stabs another guy's throat, slices another neck, slashy, stabby, slice. Then he takes a baseball bat and beats the little kid from the first movie to death. But he's not done. He gets one more surprising kill when he slices up Laurie's daughter, ending the movie on a harrowing note. This leaves us with only 1 more to go. Halloween Ends. Yes, please God, let this be the end. This one should be quick because Michael Myers isn't really in this movie a lot. He's apparently been hiding in a tunnel for 4 years, and I guess he's trying to pass down his evil to other people. So Corey is the villain of the movie. I don't know. It's weird. Michael does physically show up, so even if it's just a metaphor for his evil spirit, I'm still counting these kills. Starting with this guy in the sewer who he slices and stabs over and over, which makes him climax? Okay. Then this woman that he lifts and stabs against a wall. It wouldn't be a proper send-off without one final pinup. He and Corey wrestle around a bit, and he gets his mask stolen. Corey kills his bullies, his mom, another dude, then Laurie shoots his ass, and Michael finishes him off with a classic neck break. Now it's Laurie versus Michael round 8. One last time for all the marbles. They beat the shit out of each other, then she kills him pretty definitively by cutting his throat, wrists, then putting his body into a huge car shredder, reducing him to mush. And that ends the tale of Halloween. For now, get ready for the reboot of the reboot in 5 to 10 years. So, how many kills did Michael Myers rack up? Let's look at the numbers. Old Mikey Boy accumulated 155 kills during his 40-year adventure in Haddonfield. That's about 12.91 kills per movie. And it's the most physical on-screen kills for anybody so far on body count. There were 56 kills in the original timeline, 30 kills in the H2O timeline, 36 kills in the Rob Zombie universe, and 52 kills in the new rebooted timeline. He had the most kills in Halloween Kills, and the least amount in Halloween Ends. You would think that he would have gone out with a bang. My pickle pick for the best kill goes to the Jack-o'-lantern one from Halloween 2018. He had a few stylish and gory kills in the latest trilogy, but I don't think it gets better than this. Not only is it gory, but it's creative and took real artistry from Michael. That's dedication. And that is it for maybe the most famous horror movie icon of all time. Let me know what you thought of the video. Did he have more kills than you expected, or less? Whose body count do you want to see next? Tell me in the comments. I thank you so much for sticking around with me this long. And until we meet again, peace out.